I Should Be Writing, Season 21, Episode 4.
Well, I should be writing. I should be working on my craft. I should be writing. I should be submitting my next draft. But I'm sitting home watching Doctor Who.
Hi there. My name is Mer Lafferty, and you are traveling through another dimension. A dimension not only of sight and sound, but of mind. Well, a dimension not only of audio and of podcasting, but fury. I thought this would be clever. It's not. If this is the first time you've listened to my show, please, please, please go to any episode before episode 3 or after episode 6 if you want to hear what the first part of the show is supposed to sound like. But this is literally my 4th time recording this because of reasons you don't even need to know because they're quite boring. Boring things can be utterly destructive too. But my name is Mer Lafferty. We do a podcast for wannabe fiction writers. We usually do it well. And I say we, but I am a one-person shop here. And that's why things get behind, and that's why things sometimes burn in a fiery garbage fire. But what happens is, I wanted to record smooth, non-live streamed intros for you guys, talk about stuff without, conversating? Where am I from? Without talking to chat or relying on anything visual. I do a live stream of this podcast, but I'm trying to add a little bit more to make it friendlier to podcast listeners. There was my problem. So I recorded intros for 2 episodes and lost them. And then I have recorded several others, and because I'm having a Murphy's kind of day, everything that has gone wrong will. I'm not even sure this is going to get to you. I really don't. You could just have like 4 raw episodes thrown into the feed with me cackling in the background. I hope not. Because you know what? We are the actual live stream parts. There are 3 really good interviews with authors that are amazing. And I have an episode I'm pretty happy about. So all I ask is be patient for the next 4 episodes. The actual live stream part's going to be fine. The intro part, not so much, because it is vacation eve for me, and I was really hoping to get 5 episodes done. And it is 5:29 p.m., and I'm still recording intros. So, yeah. Premee Mohamed is a Nebula, World Fantasy, and Aurora Award-winning Indo-Caribbean scientist and speculative fiction author, based in Edmonton, Alberta. She has also been a finalist for numerous other awards, including Hugo, Ignite, Locust, British Fantasy, Ursula K. Le Guin, and Crawford. Premee's done many, many amazing works, and One Message Remains is her most recent. All right, welcome back to I Should Be Writing. I am delighted to have with us today my good friend, Premee Mohamed. Premee, hi, welcome.
Hi, thank you.
Just had a complaint about your mic. Try again.
Oh.
No, I edited on my end. Is that better? Say something.
Is that better?
Yeah. Let's see.
Did that help?
I hope so. We need chat to tell us this. Hey, Lee.
Tell us?
I can hear Premee says kids are asleep. Yeah, it's when I've been doing ditch diggers, Ursula's levels are like up here and mine are right here, and it's really hard to match them, so I'm trying to like match when the actual recording's being made. So I bumped that down so I can try to bump Premee up. I don't know what that means. It sounds rude. Sorry. Okay.
That might be a harassment lawsuit.
Oh yeah.
Do I need to do anything on my end?
You do. No, I think I've increased everything. So hopefully that works. That's much better, says Underpope. Okay, great. Let's try that again. Thank you for letting me know, Underpope. Welcome back to I Should Be Writing. I am delighted to have with me my good friend, Premee Mohamed here. Thank you, Premee, for coming on the show, and thank you for taking the time out of your many book launches to come and say hi.
Thank you so much for the invite. I just had a book come out on Tuesday. I don't know what this week is doing.
Yeah, I know. It's very exciting. It's One Message Remains. Why don't you tell us about that book?
That is with Psychopomp, which is a very small, very new press, which I think is very exciting. And it consists of one novella, two new novelettes, and one reprinted story, The General's Turn, which was published in the Deadlands in, I want to say 2021? I now can't remember. But yeah, they approached me and said, hey, we're planning to start a novella imprint. Do you maybe have a novella you can give us? And I was like, well, I don't really have any, sitting around. I could write you one. And then I came up with the idea of setting the idea that I had in the same world of The General's Turn. And then they came back and said, hey, what if we package the novella together with a reprint of The General's Turn? And then my editor, Elise Tobler, came back again and said, hey, what if we make this like a little mini collection? Can you write us 2 or 3 more stories to go with the reprint and the novella? So we ended up with, a decent sized little book.
Yeah.
It's about 53,000 words now. And yeah, that just came out. So that's how it came into being.
That's great. I think at the third point, I would probably be worried that they would never ever print it and just keep asking me to add on to it. But I'm glad that helped.
To get concerned about that. I could see my agent kind of in the background going like this.
Yeah, that would have been bad. I'm glad they did stop with that, but it sounds very cool. Yes, your imprint is small. Unfortunately, I tried to get it at my local store and they said, we don't have that incoming. Why don't we have that incoming? So they promised they could get it, so they would. But it's like I didn't realize that was a novella imprint, so that would be helpful to know when I tell them that. But they do cover, they do print Tor.com or whatever they're called now.
I think the publisher side of things is still Tor.com, and the magazine is now Reactor.
Okay, right. Oh, I get it, Reactor. I'm very bad with puns. I can't make them.
Yeah.
Sometimes I can't tell them. It's like...
Can't recognize... Yeah, pattern recognition kind of.
Yeah.
So it's actually their website is now reactor.com. So yeah, they kind of kept the Tor.com part of it and added some letters.
Gotcha. Well, anyway, I try to talk up my friendly local bookstore as much as I can, because you can order from them and get signed copies from me. And you can order Premee's books from them too, but you should probably support your local bookstore, because Premee's not going to come here and sign a bunch of books for you, even if I asked her nicely.
Yeah, if they paid for it, like if it was an all expenses paid vacation to the bookstore, I would come and sign books.
There we go.
Do people do that? I feel like they don't.
I don't think so.
I've never seen it offered on The Price is Right.
No, is that your level of what is available to buy and what's not?
Yeah, because they always say an all expenses paid vacation too.
Oh, right.
And then they fill in the location, and so far none of them, I think, have been bookstores.
Well, I haven't watched it in several years, so
Me neither.
I mean,
Maybe they changed.
They could have updated, because that would be cool.
That would be cool.
I would want to be on The Price is Right if that were the case. But I know a lot of people want to be on it, and so I wonder how it feels to be in that audience and just so excited, but your name's never called.
A lot like publishing, I imagine.
You can tell she's a good friend of Matt Wallace, because she just used that segue to bring us back on topic where I had driven us off far, far into the sunset.
Tangents always loop back around.
Yes.
I never worry about tangents.
Good. Premee, you impress me and worry me in your output, because how many books did you have coming out last year?
4.
4 books last year. Yeah. And how many are slated for this year?
two that I'm aware of.
You gonna be like surprised by one, or
Possibly. Without getting into too much detail, my agent and I were approached late last year with a book contract, and we just did the paperwork on that. But their initial proposed deadline was May, and for a novel, and they were
5 months.
Less than 5 months, because they needed to run the idea through their team, and they seemed extremely gung-ho on this very compressed timeline. And part of me is like, is the goal here to have a book completed, edited, and all the artwork and formatting and typesetting and everything and printing and distribution ready to go for this year? That seems extremely fast to me. So if that's their goal, that one could be coming out this year.
Okay, that's a little scary. But yeah, okay. They would have to get you edits pretty soon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, probably, like, within weeks of me handing in the book.
Yeah. Wow. So how... I have so many questions, and some of them sound rude, but you're a good friend, so I know you're not going to take offense, but how... I can't tell if this is like, how did you get yourself into the bad position of writing this much, or how did you get yourself into the enviable position of having this much work? So, is it like...
I would say, I know, it's... Sometimes when I talk to other friends about this, like, oh, I have to hand this in, I have to hand this in, I have to hand this in, it sounds a little like complaining that my diamond shoes are too tight.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it sounds like an enviable position if people think that you get paid for the work that you do.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bad position if you are doing phenomenal amounts of work and getting paid fairly minimally, which is hard to see from the outside. And I think part of the reason people are so quick to believe in kind of I don't just mean in publishing, I mean generally, the idea that things genuinely are a meritocracy.
Oh, yeah.
Most of the time, if you put more work into something, you do get more results.
Right.
And you do get better rewards. People who practice play better sports.
Yeah.
People who work out have better muscle definition. That kind of thing. Like, generally, if you work harder, that's obvious. The flip side of that is sometimes people can be working extremely hard and nothing appears to be moving. And a lot of publishing is like that.
Yeah.
Or the converse, which is a lot of work is being done, a lot of work is being produced, and you are getting paid for like a tenth of it.
Yeah.
So the reason I am working at such a frantic pace is because I'm not saying no to any reasonable offer because I need the money. Mm-hmm. I don't know when the next offer is going to come. And the cat very irritatingly refuses to look for work. So I am supporting him as well.
Yeah. Well, you've built up enough discussion about him online. You could probably, make him a Instagram celebrity kind of person.
I had a friend the other day suggest OnlyFans, and I thought that was very funny. Or Cameo.
Those are two very different things, aren't they?
They're two very different things.
Okay.
So I had to stop her and be like, do you know what OnlyFans is? She's like, yeah, it's like Cameo. I'm like, it's not exactly like Cameo.
Okay, good. I'm glad you knew that.
So we had a little chat about that. But the second part of the problem is, have you ever tried to make a cat do something he doesn't want to do? Even if it's something extremely minor?
Yeah.
So I don't think that's going to be a reliable moneymaker.
Yeah.
Sadly.
Fair. I mean, I've got a dog that sleeps all the time, unless she's warning us that the mailman's coming to kill us. So,
yeah, murderer.
Yeah. All the murderers going up and down our street.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's talk about this. Yes, getting paid fairly for writing is the dream. But from a working writer standpoint, how do you decide which ideas you're going to be generating, and do you ever like get someone coming to you and saying, can you write us X? And you go, I can't think of anything right now. Or do you just have...
That never happens.
Okay.
Before we started, actually, we were talking about this either blog post or Patreon post that I'm going to be putting up shortly. And that part of that is going to discuss how I wrote and handed in 4 short stories in January, because that happened to be when their deadlines were. Wow. And that was, in all 4 cases, partly because 2 of them were sprung on me very much as a surprise. That's a case of going from the suggested idea or the theme of the anthology to handing it in, the finished formatted copy. And I think if someone had suggested to me 5 or 6 years ago that I would be doing that now, I would have stared at them blankly, like what? I can do that for a white paper at work. If you want me to talk about agroecology under photovoltaic cells, and you sprang that on me on Monday, I could get you a pretty good draft by Thursday with all the references and stuff in it. If you wanted me to write you a briefing note about this upcoming policy by this afternoon for your meeting with the minister, I could probably do that. If you wanted a short story from me on a specific topic by the end of the week, which almost happened in one of these cases, I would have just been like, you want a what? I don't think creativity works that way.
Yeah.
It does after you've been solicited for like 45 stories in a row.
Wow.
So I think what I'm gonna have to try to get at, if I ever do write this blog post, is that there is an impression that if people are churning out work quickly, it must be low quality. And that's kind of the difference between something like, I don't know, like bespoke handmade clothing. Like if you go to a store, you know, on Portobello Road in London and you get a suit custom made or something, obviously that is going to be much, much higher quality than something that just got pooped out of the factory and it took like 17 minutes to make with a bunch of machines. And so we've all got this idea in our head. Obviously, the novel that took 3 years to write is much better than the one that took 3 months to write. Obviously, the short story that someone was pondering over and tweaking and editing and revising and refining for a year is better than the one somebody wrote in 2 weeks. What I kind of want to turn the camera a little bit to look at is what we're not accounting for in the short story that's written in 2 weeks or 1 week or whatever, is that there is a significant amount of practice and skill that goes into letting somebody do something quickly. You know, if I'm watching an Instagram reel about, I don't know, somebody with really good knife skills in the kitchen who can cut up an onion in 5 seconds, and it takes me, 8 minutes to cut up an onion or whatever. Does that mean the cutting of the onion is worse? Actually, no, he's doing a better job. Mm-hmm. And he's doing it faster because he has been working on his knife skills for 20 years. And I've been working on mine since 8 minutes ago when I decided to start cutting up this onion. So at this point, I don't know how alarmed I should be that I did manage to produce 4 fairly good, in my opinion, short stories in a month. I don't want to do it again. So if any editors are listening, go away. I need longer than that. But I did turn in work I was proud of. And I think the secret is just not being precious about any part of my process anymore. I can't be. I don't have time.
I know it's fun to be self-deprecating, but this is an honest question. Do you produce genuinely clean first drafts?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, pretty clean. For short fiction, yeah, pretty clean.
That's awesome.
For longer stuff, the first draft is messier, but the third draft tends to be the one I hand in, because by that point, all I'm looking for at that point is generally typos, and I'm doing the formatting and stuff. That's like language choice at that point.
Mate, so when you're finished, like the end on draft 1, that's not when you turn it in?
No.
Oh.
Your camera seems to be...
I know. Just keep talking. That's...
Okay. Yeah, no. For short stories, it's generally... I finish my first draft. which is pretty clean generally. These days it's sort of like at the 85 or 90% mark where I want it to be. And then my edit pass gets me that last 15-ish, whatever percent. Yeah, and then I check it quickly for typos and then I hand it in. And the subject line usually says, "Don't do this to me again." Thank you. Love, P.
Yeah, I think
something like that.
I think I'm gonna have to start factoring in my own ugly draft fixes to my schedule, because I've discovered in the past couple of years that, I mean, it might just be writing mysteries, but I write pretty messy first drafts with like large hunks needing to be rewritten, and that pushed my current book or my next book out because they said we need more rewrites and we can't confidently keep this on the schedule where it is. And what just happened?
I was gonna say you're frozen on my side, but now you have unfrozen.
Yeah, that was weird. My whole screen went black and it looked like my computer crashed, but it looks like we're still online. Is this?
Yeah, you're still here.
Weird. I don't know what's going on with my camera these days. Ugh.
Cursed. Probably cursed.
Probably cursed.
Probably cursed by a wizard.
Probably. So we were saying how my first drafts are not clean, and I think I'm trying to give myself time to write. I always picture myself like in a field of grass that's about this high, and I'm just trying to look for a way through. And
yeah,
and
we're very, very tall people.
Yes, exactly. And so I just want to go through and like, I've got a machete and I'm going to just start carving a path. It might not be the right path. It probably won't be the right path, but at least I'll find out what doesn't go in the story if I go that way. And so, but I need to factor in this time, which is hard because I still have the ADHD quote unquote superpower of being able to work on something at the last minute and turn it in. But I have had that backfire on me, like I said, so I need to do that. So I want to ask how you do your schedule, but chat wants to know, how do clean first drafts?
How do you clean first drafts?
Yes.
The truth is, I used to be in that field with my machete and wandering along, actually not all that fast, going, ooh, look at that cool flower. Mm-hmm. Look at that interesting grass. Look at that sign over there saying, warning, covered well. I'm going to go look at that. So I'd hack my way over there and then be like, oh, okay, the covered well was a red herring. Somebody filled it in with concrete 2 years ago. How boring. I thought maybe there'd be a ghost or something in there or like a dead body. Okay, I will just take my machete and go machete something over there. For almost all of my life, that was how I wrote. And I had a great time doing that. My characters would be wandering around the field with me going like, hey, I just found a rare orchid. I had to stop when I realized that when you sign a book contract, they put a deadline in there. Mm-hmm. So my process of machete plus grass took too long, frankly. That was just, I could not deny it anymore. And my assumption was, again, similar to what I was doing for a living, which was for many, many years, for 24 years, science. People don't look kindly on granting extensions, because if I am the wrench in the machine that is causing all the other cogs not to spin, they're going to make sure that I can't do that again, because the cogs have to be spinning, and we can't have one diva out here saying, no, I need another month, kind of thing. So I really trained myself to never ask for more time before I got into publishing. And when I got into publishing, my mantra was, I'm going to finish this on time if it kills me. Fortunately, it has not killed me yet. It has come very, very close about a dozen times.
Yeah.
January this year was one of them. But I basically had to teach myself how to eliminate those parts of my process that were slowing me down but not helping the book. So most of that was just the going backwards and kind of looking at things like continuity and logic and flow and causality, that actually prevented me from finishing a lot of those early drafts.
So are you, I'm going
I'm an
like...
outliner now. Yeah. I taught myself to outline. So now instead of like going along the hiking trail or whatever and like hopping over logs, I don't know. I don't hike. I don't like the outdoors. It's full of like...
That's probably logs to hop over. We don't know.
Stuff. There's lots to hop over. We don't know. There's probably pits. There's probably bears. There's certainly wasps' nests, stuff like that. The outline helps me kind of clear that all away till I've just got kind of the oval track. And then I can just get into my race car, stomp on the gas, and go as fast as I want with nothing in the way. I still enjoy myself because the draft is the part I like the best. Mm-hmm. I don't like outlining, and I don't like editing. I just want to write the book and hand the book in. But for some reason, I can't just do that. But the outline speeds things up for me. So after basically I taught myself to outline long form work, I actually kind of went backwards and was like, can I do this for short fiction? And it turns out, yes, it's much, much shorter. It's like 3 to 8 kind of bullet points for a short story. But even having that minimal amount, can I help you? Even having that minimal amount of structure speeds me up so much that I kind of get to the fun part, and I don't do the ADHD thing where I lose interest and lie on the carpet and don't finish.
How did you know my plan after this recording was to go lie on the carpet?
I'm going to go lie on the carpet.
Okay.
I love lying on the carpet. Who doesn't love lying on the carpet?
Yeah. So, still about the schedule. So you've taught yourself to be an outliner. So how do you schedule? If I give you 8 months to write a book, when do you picture yourself finishing the end for the very first time?
If I had 8 months, I would write the end on the very first time, probably around the 6-month mark.
Okay.
And I would leave myself a good 6-8 weeks to get back in there and do kind of that draft 2, which for me tends to be the kind of larger scale, this scene actually shouldn't happen here. This should happen later. Or, you know what, this character isn't really needed. Instead of writing him out, I'm just going to kill him on page, messily. It'll be great. That kind of thing, like the larger scale stuff. And then like the last pass for language and typos and did I use the word momentarily 3 times in this paragraph?
Did you use it correctly? That's my new pet peeve, is misusing momentarily.
Probably not. Did I mean momentary or did I mean in a moment?
Yeah, I know.
Or do I mean something of very short duration? Okay, delete. Now nobody's saying it.
I hope you're happy.
I hope you're happy now, future editor. My editors out there, like, you
should leave comments about anticipating your editor's comments in the first draft. That sounds fun. Well, where can we find you online, Premee, and your Patreon?
Yeah, my Patreon, I would love to have more people sign up. If I ever group my few remaining brain cells together, I will be doing more with that this year. So that's patreon.com/Premee, and my website, which needs updating and is broken on the back end. That's my fault, I broke it. Is PremeeMohamed.com. So that's a good place to find me and sign up for my newsletter, which I send out extremely irregularly because I keep forgetting that I have one and I am supposed to send one out.
Yeah.
The best place probably to find me is on Blue Sky, where I tend to hop in for 5 to 8 seconds at a time while I'm working on other stuff, so it looks like I'm there a lot, but I really am not.
Yeah.
And my handle there is just the same as my website, PremeeMohamed.com.
We will have that link in the show notes. Oh, Jasmine asked, you need to do something different to relax, not writing, maybe video games or comics.
I do need to do something different to relax. Yes, I cannot relax for a little while because I'm on deadline. But then when I'm done, I will relax, I swear. I actually do have hobbies. They're just all packed in boxes in the basement, and I haven't been able to do anything with them. My friend Megan taught me how to cross-stitch during lockdown, and it turns out I love cross-stitching, and it is an excellent way to show that you can have 2 science degrees and still not know how to count.
Oh my god, it's so hard!
It's so hard!
It's so hard!
It's so stupid.
I got this really ambitious.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so definitely 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How are you 7 now?
Yeah.
Why? Yeah, no, that is every single project I've ever done. And painting, acrylic painting, and I would like to learn how to paint in watercolor because a friend bought me a very nice watercolor set, and it has not even been opened. It still has the plastic on it. So yeah, there's plans. I just need time.
Excellent. Premee, thank you so much for being on the show. I always love talking to you.
Oh, thank you so much for the invite, Murray.
Thank you to my guest, and thank you to my listeners for listening to I Should Be Writing. If you are not a Patreon supporter, you should know that interview goes on a little bit longer. And that is available for premium subscribers for the $3 level. It's not a lot. You get access to all the archives when I get the archives all cleaned up, but all the archives and all the extended episodes. So check that out. Patreon.com/MightyMur. You can find me at twitch.tv/MightyMur is where we do the live stream Thursday afternoons, 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Murverse.com is where you can see the blog show notes, all of my episodes, all of my books. Oh yeah, and it's Hugo nominating season, so keep me in mind if you're a Hugo nominator. But I gotta get moving, so I apologize for the repetitiveness of the end caps, but it's what we gotta do. So, I'll see you next time. You should be writing. Thank you for listening to I Should Be Writing, the longest running writing podcast in existence. This episode was made possible by the Fabulous, who support the podcast via Patreon or Substack. Join the Fabulous at patreon.com/mightymur or mightymur.substack.com. Theme music provided by John Anelio. Art provided by Numbers Ninja. And podcast hosting provided by Libsyn. This episode is released under Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives 4.0 license. You can find all of my books and podcasts at murverse.com.
I should be writing. I should be submitting my next draft, but I'm sitting home watching Doctor Who. Yeah, I'm sitting home watching Doctor Who.
Premee Mohamed is a Nebula world fantasy and Aurora Premee Mohamed is a Nebula world fantasy and Aurora a winning. Wow. Shall we try that again?